All right, welcome. My name is Pastor B. Wallace.
And I'm Keontae McDonald, and you're tuning to Simplify Complexity, a relationship podcast.
So we want to welcome you to another day, another podcast. We're always grateful that you would join us no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing. We want to encourage you, please subscribe. We are grateful that you would follow us, that you would leave reviews. So make sure you leave reviews. You can also go to our website, simplifycomplexity.org, and there you can find more resources. We have many more podcasts, many more things that we're doing, and we love to hear from you. So you can also comment there. You can comment on YouTube. You can go to Brian E. Wallace. Just go to Brian E. Wallace on YouTube, and you can kind of see some of the things that we're doing there as well. So Keontae, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
All right.
Good day.
Well, our topic today is dealing with tips to being confident while dating. We had a writer or listener write in, and the listener had said this. Oh, you got to find it. Confident. What should the mentality be going into dating? I've done a lot of online dating, and that's a whole nother kind of topic right there, which is socially awkward because we're strangers, and I just wanted to kind of go smoother. So there's kind of two things in there. There's awkwardness, and then sometimes there's confidence. And so as we're talking about this, you want to jump in? Jump in. So what's one of your tips that you would have for our listener?
I think the number one tip.
Right. There we go. All right, get it out.
Number one tip is just to simply be yourself.
Be yourself.
All
right.
And why I say that is because I think, especially in the dating realm, I think sometimes we just overthink things. And when we overthink things, it just makes everything complicated.
Man, I feel like some of my worst dates were the ones where you kind of plan out. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be this. And I'm not saying don't plan.
Right.
We should always have a plan, so it's better than winging it. But it's when you're trying to get down to the details. And I'm going to do this, and they're going to smile right when I do this.
Right.
And then after they smile, you know what I mean? Like, we do way too much at that point.
It just complicates things, you know what I mean? And I think another part of that, of being yourself, is most of the time when we want to go on first date, all of us are thinking about first impressions. Sometimes, though, we might take it a little bit too overboard and kind of put this filter over us, like an Instagram filter or something like that. And what's wrong with that is when you do that, it's, boiled down to it, it's like a lie, you know what I mean? And the hardest thing to do in life is continue to keep up with a lie.
Man. So now you working overtime just to keep up that impression that really wasn't true in the first place.
And
it's going to come out.
Exactly. It's going to get found out.
Yeah, it's going to come out. So that's a great tip.
It's just better to just be yourself because you know yourself. You don't have to worry about it.
So now it's so funny that you said that, because here's actually one of my tips. Is if you want to find confidence, then you need to be secure in who you are.
Yeah.
So it's similar to kind of what you said. You're saying be yourself, but how can I be myself if I don't know who I am?
Okay, I see.
You know what I mean? So sometimes we lack confidence because we really don't know who we are. And what do I mean by that is I don't really know what my purpose is. I don't really know where I'm going. And if you don't know who you are, if you don't know why you are, then you're searching to find that purpose and that meaning in other people and other things. And so therefore you're kind of like just a water. You're just kind of all over the place, up and down. And many times that's what we find ourselves on an emotional roller coaster, especially early in the dating process, is because we're trying to find stability, whereas I should already be stable.
Right.
And that doesn't mean things are perfect. Don't mistake me understanding who I am and my identity with perfection. It just means I just know what my pursuits are. I know why I'm even wanting in a relationship. Sometimes we step into a relationship and we're just lonely. But is dating and stepping into a relationship is not necessarily going to resolve loneliness.
It's not.
You can just build friendships.
Right.
You need to first find that, security in Christ, before all of a sudden I try to find a security in somebody else, because they can't secure you.
Exactly. Because, you hear oftentimes people be married. You could be married and be lonely.
Man.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I get you there. Another tip I have, this is just really on the, the first date aspect, is you have to put yourself in a good mood before you date. And so what I mean by that is like you want to, it's kind of like a pregame ritual. You know what I mean? You want to put yourself in a good, you want to put yourself in a good mood. You want to do something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Something that gives you happiness, you know what I mean? Something that's just going to get, you know what I mean? It's going to get you going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whether that's engaging in your favorite hobby or, you know, finding your favorite outfit that you like, you want to do something that's going to make you happy because that happiness is going to carry you on through the night or through the day, you know, whatever you're doing in that day.
Yeah. You know, and so I want to add to that. So a tip that I would have, especially as he was talking about kind of meeting somebody new and there's this awkwardness, is have an idea of what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, that's okay with a pre-game, which you said pre-date kind of ritual. As you're kind of thinking through, like, okay, what are some things I want to talk about? Where are you from? Have you traveled? You know, so just if you just go and you have no idea what you're going to talk about, there's going to be definitely some awkwardness because you're going to have some weird
blank spaces and
just looking at each other. So that's going to be really awkward.
Right,
so it's okay. You know, there's actually some resources. You can Google questions while on a date, you know, and so you can just get a list of questions there. Now, you be mindful, you don't want to go on a date and all of a sudden reading a list, you know, so you want to have flow, you know, and it's a learning process.
Exactly.
And so if you've never really been on, and that's another tip, I guess, just understand that it's a learning process. And so as you're going out and you're meeting people that if you've never really went out before, it's just going to be an awkward period because you've never done it.
Exactly.
I'm meeting somebody new. I've really never done that before. And so as you meet new people and as you become more sociable, even outside the aspect of dating, are you sociable and how do you respond when you meet people, whether or not if it's at church, whether or not if it's in your workplace? And so if you, I'm doing a couple tips in a row. I'm sorry.
No, this is good. This is good.
Because it's just coming to me. I actually have this written down, was that, you know, you want a tip is build and be more sociable with people out and about. And as you're doing that with strangers, just being kind. There's no hidden motive, like I'm trying to date you. I'm just trying to be kind. I want to really get to know you. You'll find yourself more comfortable when you go on a date.
And that's good, man, because that's a really good, that's some really good advice. Because for a lot of people who don't know, like I do poetry, and sometimes I'm standing in front of 5 people doing poetry. I'm standing in front of 100 people doing poetry. Yeah. You know, one of my biggest tips to people who are trying to do public speaking and things like that is, when you run across people, speak to as many people as you can, whether it's a hi, just small talk, because it continues to prepare you to just be comfortable with talking in front of people, period. You know what I mean? So in the same sense as that, you know, you want to meet people at your job, at your church, because it becomes natural at that point. Yeah. So that's a really good tip.
All right, so you got another tip?
My next tip is to just focus on your strengths and not so much more your weaknesses. At least
break that down.
So what that means is you want to keep your date in like a positive light. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't want to just go straight into like, hey, my name is Carl. I have a gambling addiction. You know what I mean? These are
too much information.
You know what I mean? These are things that might be brought up later on, but you know what I mean? You want to just kind of focus on your strengths. Hey, you know, but I'm a responsible person. I have my own place. You know, I've graduated from
in the flow of things too. Because you don't want to come out with a big old list. Yeah, so just in the flow of things. Right. Give thought to what your discussion is going to be.
Right. So but you definitely don't want to go too heavy. You know what I mean? You just want to do some just light toppers, breaking the ice types.
Yeah, like, you know, I got you, man. All of a sudden it's like, I just broke up and you know, I cheated on her and like this.
And it's just like, they're trying to date a ride real quick. You know what I mean? So definitely focus on your strengths and not so much more your weaknesses.
All right, that's good. So you have another one. I did 2 or 3 in a row.
Another one for me. This can be whether it's your first date or if you're just continually in that. You know what I mean? You've gone on a couple of dates, and it's just to be present and enjoy the time. I think so much. It's so often that when we start getting into that dating motion, we're just kind of like anticipating a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the analogy of like, you know, when people talk, when you're talking to somebody, are you talking to just talk, or are you talking to listen and then talk? You know what I mean? So you want to be present in the moment. Just it's an experience. Just like you said, it's a learning curve or whatnot. So you just want to experience the moment, enjoy the moment.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Not to be thinking on just something, you know, just so left field, but you want to be there physically and mentally, just to be present, just to, you know, experience this time.
Well, and so one of the tips I have to kind of piggyback on that is, what is dating? Because what ends up happening is people have different definitions of what dating is. And so one of the things that we've talked about here on the show, one of the things that I've written in my book, so I definitely want to encourage you, go to Amazon. My book is titled Chasing Happily Ever After, and it definitely will help you through the whole dating process. But in that, one of the things that I lay out and we've talked about is data collecting friendships. And as we begin to understand what the goal is, the whole reason why you're meeting, the whole reason why you are connecting is you're trying to get to know one another.
Right.
And oftentimes we step into that first date, into that second date, or to that third date, or however long it is within that first couple weeks or a couple months, is it's kind of like we're already an item. And that's way too much pressure. You're getting to know one another.
Right.
And I'm going someplace because here's the tip, is if I have the view that we're just trying to get to know one another, number one, that takes a lot of pressure off. I'm not all of a sudden you're wifey.
Right.
And either no, that's way too much pressure. It's just, I just want to get to know you.
Right.
And if that's the whole point, then as I come to understand that, wait a minute, you might not be a good match. There's no perfect match. But what we're looking for a good match. Yeah. And you cannot find a good match until you go through the process of kind of data collecting and learning people. And so part of what you're doing is you're trying to gain information, and at some point you're going to come to a place where it's like, man, this really isn't a good match, or they might feel the same way. Because I have a correct view of what we're doing in the whole process of dating, then as a result of me having this correct view, I'm not hurt too much when they express that I'm not really interested.
Right.
And I think that's part of the tip, is that sometimes we lack confidence because we're not receiving rejection in the right way. And we're reviewing it, we're taking it so personal, especially early in dating. If it's the first date and they're not interested, did they really reject me?
Yeah.
They don't even know me. You don't even know me, so you're not really rejecting me. It's just, for whatever reason, it just wasn't a good match.
Right. It just didn't fit with you. And I think the data collecting, it's just so important. And it brings back to me, like, if you're an iPhone user, right? Whenever you're texting something, like, Siri will start to shoot you out things that she think you're trying to text. You know what I mean? But, like, for instance, if you're trying to text the word "the," she's gonna put a "there" or "they" or or "the." Will pop
so sometimes it's even worse, because you get like a whole bad word, like, whoa, like,
right? Like, I've been doing this, but like, I'm saying that to say, like, you have to go through the experience. She has to learn, that okay, normally you kind of type this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this up there. So she's trying to give you a plethora of, like, this is where you kind of get close to. Now, sometimes we might fall into that rate where we're the there or the they, and it just doesn't fit. You know what I mean?
It's not a good match. And that's okay. And I think if we can get to a place, if you can get to a place that understanding, we're just here to learn one another, collect information, to see if it's going to go forward. And if we come to a place, either one, even if you come to that place or I come to that place, because some people, they keep dating, even though one of them know, like, I'm not really feeling this, but because they have the wrong view. Like, the moment we go on a date, man, we're an item.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're not. And so you're just trying to collect information. And so take all that pressure off. And don't take it so personal if things don't go work out to where, I'm dating again. I don't want to see anybody. Exactly. And it's like, dang, you didn't even know each other. You just went on a date to get to know each other. You're friends.
Exactly.
Why are you taking it so personal?
And that actually brings me back to what I was something I was trying to say earlier. Just to go back over it, because I had like a brain meld or something for some reason. But when it comes to being present, sometimes when we're on a date, that day we could be thinking about something that could be potentially 2 months from now. You know what I mean? Like we haven't even got through this first day yet. We don't know what's going to happen. Right. But you keep thinking like, how will things be in 2 months, or how will things be in a year? Will she be this type of person? Will he be this type of person? You have to just be present in that day.
Slow down.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just go through that day. Go through the motions first and see if this is even going to be a fit for this 24 hours. Right. You know what I mean? Let alone thinking way into the future. So I just wanted to get that.
Well, and what's interesting is sometimes there are dates, and as you get to know one another, that they don't work out, but they still remain connected. The connection still stays there. Friends still develop. And so if you take it from a friendship point, even though we're romantically interested in one another, we're still building friends.
Yeah.
And the best relationships start as they build from friendship and that they grow into something more.
Exactly.
You have a last tip?
I actually didn't. But I did have a verse I would which I want to give in confidence. And this verse comes from Proverbs 14:26.
Okay.
And mind you, if you guys ever read Proverbs just has so much wisdom.
You gotta love Proverbs.
You know what I mean? It's just, you just find all type of gold nuggets in there.
There's a proverb a day.
Yeah, man. So Proverbs 14:26 says, "Reverence for the Lord gives confidence and security to a man and his family." We're focusing on the man, right? On the man part. You know, when you, just how you said earlier, you know, just finding yourself first.
Right.
But finding yourself is really just finding God. When you find God and you build that faith structure and that reverence for God, like, I don't know, like, I just feel like I feel a lot more confident now that I'm in the Lord than I was when I was in the world trying to do stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm to this point now where I can stand on stages in front of people
right.
and just be confident, where I can go in front of people and talk to people and just be confident.
Because you don't define me.
Exactly.
This date doesn't define me.
Exactly.
A woman doesn't define you. A man doesn't define you. So when you know who you are, you're not defined by those moments.
Right.
So it definitely helps out, and it definitely brings confidence. And it also prevents over cockiness because there's humility with Christ.
Right.
So that's good. Well, my last one I think is really important because I feel like one of the things that really hurts us in the area of dating, the early stages of dating, is fear. And so we allow fear to control our actions. And so we show a lack of faith sometimes because I'm not going to ask if they want to go out. I'm not going to take that step of faith. I'm not going, so fear becomes the dominant factor of why I'm staying in this weird, awkward dating, and I'm still dating this person, even though, because I'm fear of me leaving. How are they going to respond if I tell them I'm not interested?
Yeah.
And so people have literally been together for years and gotten married, and all out of fear.
Right.
Fear of being alone. And so I would say is really work through and say, what am I feeling? Is it fear? Am I afraid of rejection? Is that going to define me? And so it just builds on everything that we've talked about. So a reason why we do a lot of the things we do is deep down and somewhere in there's fear,
right.
Fear of something. And, we don't have to be afraid of anything.
Exactly.
But God.
That's good. You hit it right on the nail.
You be sure to follow us on our social media, Keontae.
Keontae McDonald, Keonte, McDonald like the restaurant.
All right, and you can follow me at Brian E. Wallace. And so please, we appreciate you listening. Tell your friends. Send this to somebody. I'm sure somebody could use these tips.
Oh, yeah.
They could be blessed by them. So share it with somebody. Make sure you subscribe and check out our next episode as it comes next week.
Make sure you leave us comments. Just like this episode, this was a listener's question.
Yeah.
You might have a question out there that might be a good topic. So just go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know. And hey, it might show up as an episode one day.
All right. God bless you and God keep you. Until next time.